Hello, thank you for stopping by. My name is Becky and this is BecxReadz, and today I want to have a little discussion and share my thoughts on what authors owe us as readers. This has been a topic that has just been floating around in my brain and I wanted to share my thoughts on it, see what your thoughts were. I am going to break this down into what they owe us as far as representation goes, accuracy, plots and storylines, access, and respect. Let's start with representation. Do authors owe us any sort of representation in their stories? Do they owe us representation of disability, sexuality, ethnicity, religion, etc., etc.? In my opinion, no, they don't. They don't owe us any of that. It is their stories. They are literally hallucinating, putting their hallucination down and giving it to us for entertainment. It's their story. They're creating it. They're imagining this world and these characters and these stories. It's theirs. You wouldn't go to a painter, per se, and be like, I like that painting, but I would like there to be blue represented in it. If they don't want to use blue, they don't have to use blue. Or if a songwriter was writing a song and you thought that something needed to be represented in that song lyrics, would you tell that person, hey, I really think you need to write this and make this fit into your song? They don't have to do that. It's theirs. They're creating it. It is up to them what they put into their story. Now, does representation make stories better? Abso-freaking-lutely. Representation does matter. Everybody wants to see themselves depicted in some sort of artistic avenue so that they know that the world sees them. Representation has a huge effect on people. I think it's very true what that one quote says, that if you aren't finding the stories you want to read, write it yourself. If you want a story told from a certain perspective, in a certain culture, from a certain viewpoint, and you're not seeing it, write it yourself. And I know that is to say, some people just don't have the writing ability. I am one of those people. I have so many things that I would love to see represented in books that I just don't get, that authors aren't giving me, and it irritates the hell out of me. Here, I did this video of things I want more of in books. Go check it out. However, I can't write for shit. I cannot write a compelling story. I can give ideas, but making that into a full-length novel that grips people, I don't have that talent. If I really wanted to, I could write that story. Would it be good? Probably not. But I could write it if I really wanted to. But I don't want to. I'm too lazy for that. I'm not creative enough for that. So I rely on other people to give me those stories. And if I can't find the stories that I want, well, then I just find what's out there to read. Because I know authors don't owe me shit when it comes to representation. Would I love to see more visually impaired girls? Abso-freaking-lutely. But they're just not out there, and I don't have the talent to write it myself, so I work with what I got. This will move us into accuracy. Do authors owe us accuracy in their fiction stories? Keep in mind, I am talking about fiction stories. Not nonfiction, okay? In nonfiction, I believe shit needs to be accurate. In fiction, are we owed accuracy? Accuracy in the representation given. Accuracy in the time periods talked about. Accuracy in the manner of speak. Accuracy in the depictions. Anything like that. Are we owed that? Again, I'm gonna say no, we aren't owed that, because once again, this is the author's story to tell. They are creating this world. They are talking about characters they created. And they can do whatever the hell they want with that story. If it's fiction. Now, do I think accuracy makes for a better story? Absolutely. Do I think that it needs to be as accurate as possible? Absolutely. But I don't think it's owed to me. I think if an author is writing, say, a historical fiction or something, and they want to, like, make the time period shorter or switch around some dates that aren't accurate to history, let them do it. If an author writes a character to be stereotypical and it's just not accurate to somebody's definition, Are we owed that accuracy? They can do with it what they want with it. Is it going to piss people off? People going to be mad about it and cancel them and give them bad reviews? More than likely. But I don't think it's owed to any of us that they create an accurate story to their fiction. Moving on to stories and plots, do authors owe us certain storylines that we want to read? Do they owe us a completed series? Again, I'm gonna say no. Because once again, it is their piece of art. If they don't want to write about a certain couple, that's their prerogative. If they find themselves in a situation where they can't finish a 3-book series, that's what's happening in their life. It's their story to tell. Again, it's their hallucination. It's their imagination. It is their talent. We as readers, in my personal opinion, we don't have the right to tell somebody that they owe us their talent and they owe us what we want to see. If you want to see that, create it yourself if you're able to. If you're not, deal with what people are giving you. I personally want some of my favorite series that aren't finished to get finished. But I can't make the author finish it. I can't make them write it for me. If they never get around to finishing the stories that I want to read, well then I'm just stuck with it. I'm just going to have to imagine how I want certain things to play out. If I don't get a Gwynreal storyline, Sarah J. Maas, there's not much I can do about it. And I feel like this is where fan fiction really comes into play, because fans want certain storylines, they want certain couplings, and they aren't getting it from the author, so they just create it themselves. And sometimes it's great. Sometimes it's complete shit, but sometimes it's great. Do they owe us access to our books? If an author is only able to write a story and publish it as a Kindle ebook, do they owe people a print version of that? Do they owe people an audiobook version of that? If an author decides not to, say, use Amazon, which is the biggest access to books, are readers owed access to that if they don't want to give it to Amazon to put out there? Again, I'm going to say no, they don't. They don't owe you that access to that book. If you want access to that book, you will find a way to get it. But you have to think that maybe the access that these authors are providing are what they are capable of. And I'm talking about like indie authors here. I'm not talking like Sarah J. Maas, Stephen King level popular authors. If they don't feel comfortable going through Amazon and only doing it through another avenue, then that's their choice. It's, again, their work of art. They are able to decide what they do with that work of art. Would it be nice if it was accessible to everybody and everyone on every format and every place possible? Absolutely. It makes it more popular the more people who have access to it. But again, there are reasons why we might not have access to those certain things. Now, do I think publishers, like big name publishers, do they owe us these things? That's a different topic that I'm not going to get into, because I would have very different opinions on it if I was talking about big name publishers. I think big name publishers owe us a lot more than authors as individuals, because these publishers are multi-million corporations. We are essentially keeping them in business. So if they can't give us representation, accuracy, storylines, access, why are we giving them our money? So I think publishers is a totally, completely different ballgame than authors as individuals. This video is talking about authors as individuals and what I think they owe us. And as you can tell, to sum up, I don't think they owe us anything. I don't think authors owe us much of anything, except my last topic, and that is respect. I think authors do owe us respect when people read their books and have opinions about their books. You are essentially putting something into this world to be critiqued. Everything has a critic. Food has critics. Movies have critics. Hell, vacation destinations have critics. Everything that you put out there is going to be criticized in some way or another. Hell, this video I'm making right now, somebody's going to critique it. I can guarantee you. Somebody's going to have an opinion on it. Whether they share or not, somebody's got an opinion on it, okay? So when authors put stuff out there for the public to consume and enjoy, I think they owe us the respect of our opinions. Whether it's a good opinion or a bad opinion, whether it's a rant review, whether they absolutely drag it through the mud, they owe us the respect that is that opinion. Because everybody's going to have different opinions. Now, do they need to read those opinions? Do they need to have access to those opinions? Do they need to consume those opinions? Absolutely not. They could totally freaking ignore them. That's their choice. But they do not get to harass people, criticize people, and try to make people feel bad about the opinions that they have on something that they put out in public for consumption. Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on this. Do you have a differing opinion from me? Let me know. But if you don't want to comment any of that but would like to let me know that you made it to the end of this video, could you leave me a thumbs up emoji? And with that, thank you so much for watching, and until my next video, go read a book. Bye.